अस्सलाम वालेकुम जी। ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल साइकोलॉजी लेक्चर नंबर 36। We are almost there. We are 10 lectures away from you becoming a good organizational psychologist. I hope you are reviewing your course, and I hope you have been able to see the interesting elements that are part of this new subject of organizational psychology. I hope I have been able to give you something new, something different that you have studied before in relation to your other papers of psychology. और आपको इस ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल साइकोलॉजी से उम्मीद है ज़्यादा दिलचस्पी हो रही होगी, बढ़ रही होगी। चलिए आज 36वां लेक्चर शुरू करते हैं ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल साइकोलॉजी का और देखते हैं कि ग्रुप्स या टीम्स जो हैं उनका ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस पे क्या असर होता है। आपने ग्रुप साइकोलॉजी के बारे में सोशल साइकोलॉजी में यकीनन पढ़ा होगा। हम इसी टॉपिक को देखेंगे कि ग्रुप्स का ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस पर क्या असर होता है, ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस और ग्रुप्स के क्या ताल्लुकात हैं आपस में, ग्रुप्स और ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस और टीम्स जो हैं वो कैसे मुख्तलिफ हैं एक दूसरे से। ये तमाम चीज़ें आज हम देखते हैं। इससे पहले कि हम 36वां लेक्चर शुरू करें, let us review what we had talked about in lecture number 35 in a quick manner. We talked about power and politics. हमने आपको बताया था कि ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल पॉलिटिक्स जो है वो मॉडर्न ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का हिस्सा है। कोई भी ऐसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन नहीं है मौजूदा ज़माने में जिसमें पॉलिटिक्स ना हो। और पॉलिटिक्स जो है वो उसको बुरा नहीं समझना चाहिए। पॉलिटिक्स कैन ऑल्सो बी यूज्ड फॉर द बेनिफिट ऑफ पीपल इन एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन। हमने आपको पॉलिटिक्स के सोर्सेज बताए थे, तौजीहात, वजूहात बताई थी पॉलिटिक्स की, सियासत की ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में क्या वजह है कि पॉलिटिक्स जो है वो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का हिस्सा बन जाती है। और फिर उसके बाद हमने कहा था, बताया था कि ये एक तरीका है पावर एक्वायर करने का। पॉलिटिक्स के जरिए ग्रुप्स या इंडिविजुअल्स ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में पावर एक्वायर करते हैं, ये हमने देखा था। फिर हमने देखा था कि हम एक्वायर पावर कैसे करते हैं ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस में। जो अभी तक लोगों ने तरीके, टैक्टिक्स अडॉप्ट किए हैं ऑफ एक्विजिशन ऑफ पावर, ऑफ एक्वायरिंग पावर इन ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस, वी सॉ दोज। We saw the political moves that they make, the political tactics that they adopt, the political strategies that they indulge in order to gain power. And that is what we saw were some of the steps or some of the ways in which power is acquired in organizations. फिर हमने आपको बताया था कि ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल पावर की एक्विजिशन के बाद अगर वो पावर लिमिटेड गेन्स के लिए, ऐसे गेन्स जो कुछ लोगों को फायदा पहुंचाएं, अगर सिर्फ उसके लिए वो पावर इस्तेमाल हो रही है तो वो पावर नेगेटिव है और अनएथिकल है। अनएथिकल इसलिए बिकॉज इट इज बैड फॉर द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, नेगेटिव इसलिए बिकॉज इट इज टेकिंग द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन टुवर्ड्स इट्स डिस्ट्रक्शन। इट इज नॉट लुकिंग आफ्टर the larger interest of the people in the organization. It is being used to look after, to achieve the narrow ends of the people, some people, a group in the organization. That is why we called that power negative power. And we added a word of caution that politics should be indulged in, that acquisition of power should take place for the purpose of exercise of positive power rather than negative power. चलिए अब इससे आगे एक नया टॉपिक टच करते हैं, and that is the topic of groups and teams in organizations. ग्रुप क्या है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में? क्या ऑर्गेनाइजेशन भी एक ग्रुप है? क्या 2, 4, 6 लोग जो सड़क पर खड़े होके किसी एक्सीडेंट को देख रहे हैं, could you call them a group? Or how about a group of a collection of people who play cricket together and who have been playing cricket together for the last 4 years, or who have been going on fishing trips for the last 3 or 4 years? Would you call a group of people, a collection of people who are watching a cricket match as a group of people? Or opposed to that, would you call a group of people a collection who have, for instance, learned to go on long walks together and who have discovered the ways and benefits of physical exercise? Which of these two is a group? The people who are watching a roadside accident, or the people who have decide to go on long walks together? Obviously, the people who are watching an accident on the roadside is just a crowd, whereas a group of people or a collection of people who have been meeting for a longer time are people who would be called a group. In any organization, organizations groups form, बन जाते हैं. हर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, हर इदारा जो है वो ग्रोह बंदी का शिकार होता है. इसको सिर्फ मनफी अंदाज में नहीं समझना चाहिए. गो के हम जब उर्दू में इसको बयान करते हैं तो हम यही कहेंगे ग्रोह बंदी का शिकार. लेकिन ग्रोह बंदी जो है किसी इदारे में वो इदारे के फायदे के लिए भी हो सकती है. उसका जिक्र आगे चल के करेंगे. लेकिन ये याद रखिए कि हर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में, हर इदारे में ग्रोह बंदी मौजूद है. चलिए पहले इस पे गौर करते हैं. Why do groups form? One reason that you can say the groups form in an organization is because of proximity, physical, geographical proximity. People who share the same room may form themselves into a group. May, not necessarily that they do, may. Because they are physically near each other, they get to know each other, they begin to share each other's sentiments, they begin to share tea or coffee or soft drinks, and that is why, because of physical proximity, because of nearness, spatial proximity, they form into groups. That's one reason. अगर आप generally दुनिया में भी देखें तो ग्रुप्स इसी तरह से बनते हैं. फिजिकल और स्पेशल proximity, nearness leads to formation of groups. पहला तो ये है वजह ग्रोहबंदी का किसी इदारे में, proximity. दूसरा है what we call common interests and common sentiments. People who are fond of reading thrillers, people who are fond of watching soap operas on television, people who are fond of fishing, people who are fond of cricket, people who are fond of athletics, people who are fond of new designs in clothes would form themselves into separate groups. People who are interested in designer clothes would be one group. People who are interested in cricket would be one group. People who are interested in fishing would be one group. So, common activities, common interests, common sentiments lead to group formation in an organization. एक और चीज जिसको हम बैलेंस थियरी कहते हैं, that is also responsible for formation of groups. Similar ideas and similar attitudes lead to formation of groups. Similar attitudes, those people who are against all authority figures, for instance, tend to form themselves into a group because their attitude towards authority figure is one of negativity. So this common attitude leads them to form themselves into a group in an organization. Another theory related to formation of groups in organization is what is called the exchange theory. The theory says, some theorists say, some psychologists related to organizations say that people form themselves into groups in organizations because by joining a group, they surrender something, that is their individuality, part of their freedom, their time, their energy, their money, and in exchange for that, they receive the satisfaction of their needs, the need for socialization, the need for protection against other people, the need to collectively be able to do something that one cannot do individually. These are the needs that are satisfied, and that is what leads to formation of groups. Exchange theory puts the view across that groups form because individuals surrender and in exchange receive something, and that is why groups form. एक और जो इसके बारे में theory है, that is purely an economic theory or a social security theory. Groups form because it is more economical to function in a group, both monetarily and physically, psychologically. There are tasks that cannot be done individually, separately, alone. It is much more convenient. It is much more economical to be able to perform a task when you are in a group than to perform it when you are all by yourself. And that is why individuals tend to form themselves into groups. Formation of groups, therefore, is based upon all of these factors. Any group may be formed because of one or two or three or a number of these reasons put together. So, all of these reasons are the dynamics of group formation. That is why groups are formed in organizations. कोई भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो है, इसलिए वो ग्रुप के बगैर नहीं होगी, क्योंकि लोगों की सोशल नीड्स पूरी नहीं हो रही, क्योंकि लोगों के सेंटिमेंट्स कॉमन जो हैं वो एक दूसरे से मिलते हैं, क्योंकि उनके एटीट्यूड्स एक दूसरे से मिलते हैं, क्योंकि उनकी इकोनॉमिक नीड्स, उनकी सोशल नीड्स तमाम पूरी हो रही हैं, इसलिए ग्रुप्स बनते हैं ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में. And that is why we say that all organizations will inevitably lead to formation of groups within those organizations. इसमें कोई ऐसी डरने वाली बात भी नहीं है, because if you are a well-read, a sensitive organizational psychologist, you'd be able to see why groups form, and then you can use those formed groups for the benefit of the organization. Groups can become dangerous for the organizations, which we will talk about. We will talk about in detail how groups can become dangerous for the organization, how groups can threaten the organization. We will talk about those in detail. But for the time being, जैसे मैंने आपसे कहा कि क्योंकि हमारी रोजमर्रा की जुबान में यही समझा जाता है कि अगर कोई इदारा ग्रोहबंदी का शिकार हो जाए तो फिर समझ लीजिए कि इदारा जो है वो अपने खात्मे की तरफ जा रहा है. That is not necessarily true. All organizations have groups, and groups can be used for the advantage of the organization. Of course, there are disadvantages of groh bandi in organizations. If group formation is allowed to function in a certain manner, then of course it's dangerous for the organization. And as I said, we'll talk about those in great detail. For the time being, understand that all organizations are a collection of groups, and groups will form an organization. अब इससे थोड़ा सा आगे चलते हैं और देखते हैं कि ग्रुप फॉर्मेशन की ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस में स्टेजेस क्या हैं. और आप देखें कि इसकी स्टेजेस पे जब हम गौर करते हैं तो वी कैन सी दैट देयर आर 5 स्टेजेस टू द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ ग्रुप्स इन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. नंबर 1, द फर्स्ट स्टेज इज forming stage, when individuals realize that they share common sentiments, common interests. When they realize that this commonality of interest, this sharing of attitude will give them benefits, and that is why they form. And this is the first stage of group formation, forming stage. And then there is the storming stage. When groups are formed, when individuals come together in an organization, when they see points of views of each other, when they see the similarities, when they see similarities in attitudes, in their sentiments, when they see that their needs can be fulfilled by joining groups, then the second stage emerges, which is called the storming, जहां conflict और confrontations individuals की आपस में होती है group के अंदर. The storming is the second stage of group formation. After it has been formed, it leads to confrontations and conflicts. ये वो स्टेज है जहां पर हर इंडिविजुअल मेंबर जो है वो एक ग्रोह के अंदर अपना रोल जो है उसको तय कर रहा है कि उसका क्या रोल है, क्या करना चाहिए. इसलिए इस स्टेज में कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स और कॉन्फ्रंटेशंस जो हैं, झगड़े जो हैं, वो होते हैं, ग्रुप फॉर्मेशन का जरूरी हिस्सा बनते हैं. दैट इज द सेकंड स्टेज. द थर्ड स्टेज इज व्हाट इज कॉल्ड द नॉर्मिंग स्टेज. जब ये कॉन्फ्लिक्ट और कॉन्फ्रंटेशन खत्म हो जाती है, जब रोल्स डिफाइन कर लेते हैं इंडिविजुअल्स अपने लिए ग्रुप में, दैट इज कॉल्ड द नॉर्मिंग स्टेज. व्हेन पीपल बिगिन टू कोऑपरेट. अगर हम मिसाल लें कि फिशिंग के जो शौकीन हैं, मछली का शिकार के जो शौकीन हैं, वो एक ग्रुप में, उन्होंने एक ग्रुप फॉर्म कर लिया ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में. तो पहले स्टेज में वो फॉर्म हुआ, दूसरी स्टेज में झगड़े हुए. कौन किस वक्त आएगा, कौन मछली के शिकार के जाने के लिए अपने साथ मछली पकड़ने की चीजें लेके आएगा, कौन खाना लेके आएगा, कौन गाड़ी लेके आएगा. इस बात पे चपकलिश या झगड़े जो हैं वो स्टॉर्मिंग स्टेज है. तीसरी स्टेज जिसको हमने नॉर्मिंग कहा, जब ये झगड़े और चपकलिश जो हैं ये तय हो जाएंगी. भाई अलिफ ने गाड़ी लानी है, बे ने खाना लाना है, जीम ने ब्ला 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 व्हाटएवर. सो दिस इज द थर्ड स्टेज, द स्टेज ऑफ नॉर्मिंग. एंड द फोर्थ स्टेज इन ग्रुप डेवलपमेंट इज व्हाट्स कॉल्ड परफॉर्मिंग. जब ये सब मिलके ये झगड़े खत्म करने के बाद, सेटलमेंट के बाद, देन दे perform whatever the group is supposed to have collected together for. अगर मछली के शिकार के लिए हैं, then they go out, locate a place, indulge in fishing, and then distribute those fish that have been caught, whatever. That is called performing stage, when the functions of each group member is settled and the group is functioning. And finally, the adjourning stage. Adjourning stage is when the group is disbanded. जब कुछ लोगों की ट्रांसफर हो गई या मछली के शिकार के बाद वो लोग घर वापस आ गए, तो फिर सब अपनी अपनी जगह चले गए. या अगर ट्रांसफर की सूरत में अपने एक शहर से दूसरे शहर चले गए, the group has adjourned, the group has dissipated, disappeared, and that is the fifth stage of group development. तो अगर हम किसी टिपिकल ग्रुप की ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में डेवलपमेंट देखें तो हमें ये 5 स्टेजेस उसमें दिखाई देंगी. वो कौन कौन सी 5 स्टेजेस हैं? नंबर 1 फॉर्मिंग, नंबर 2 स्टॉर्मिंग, नंबर 3 नॉर्मिंग, नंबर 4 परफॉर्मिंग एंड नंबर 5 एडजर्निंग. ऐसे ही ग्रुप जो हैं वो आमतौर पे फंक्शन करते हैं ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में. इसके बाद हम एक और चीज पे गौर करते हैं, एंड दैट इज, क्या किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में ग्रुप्स जो हैं वो एक ही तरह के होते हैं, या क्या ग्रुप्स मुख्तलिफ अकसाम के एक ही ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में पाए जाते हैं? आपका क्या ख्याल है? अभी हमने ग्रुप की डेवलपमेंट की स्टेजेस का जिक्र किया, तो क्या आपका ख्याल है कि क्या एक से ही ग्रुप्स होंगे? कुछ ग्रुप्स ऐसे होंगे जिनके मेंबर्स जो हैं वो एक दूसरे से ज्यादा फ्रीक्वेंसी से मिलते हैं, ज्यादा तवातर से मिलते हैं. और कुछ ऐसे ग्रुप होंगे जिसमें ग्रुप मेंबर्स जो हैं वो कम तवातर से मिलते हैं. तो क्या इन दोनों ग्रुप्स में कोई फर्क होगा? जी हां. और यही बेसिस है types of groups का. One of the basis of types of groups is the frequency of interaction. Let us see what is the first type of group. The first type of group is what is called a primary group. A primary group is where interaction, मिलना जुलना जो है वो frequent है, जहां interaction, मेल जोल, मुलाकात, बातचीत, असर देना और असर लेना, ये ज्यादा तवातिर से हो रहा है. दैट इज ए प्राइमरी ग्रुप. अगर मैं आपको इसकी मिसाल दूं कि फैमिली इज ए प्राइमरी ग्रुप, तो आपको प्राइमरी ग्रुप समझने में आसानी होगी. ए प्राइमरी ग्रुप कैन बी कॉल्ड द फैमिली यूनिट. मदर, फादर एंड चिल्ड्रन इज ए प्राइमरी ग्रुप because there is more frequency of interaction, because there is more involvement with each other. ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में भी ऐसा ही है. जो लोग एक दूसरे से ज्यादा मिलते जुलते हैं, we would consider them primary group. ये प्राइमरी ग्रुप का ऑर्गेनाइजेशन पे और तरह का असर होता है और किसी और ग्रुप का ऑर्गेनाइजेशन पे और तरह का असर है. प्राइमरी ग्रुप्स के अपने मुहर्रकात हैं, अपनी डायनामिक्स हैं, और किसी और ग्रुप्स के अपने मुहर्रकात और अपनी डायनामिक्स हैं. दैट इज व्हाई वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट टाइप्स ऑफ ग्रुप्स. द सेकंड टाइप ऑफ ग्रुप इज व्हाट इज कॉल्ड द सेकेंडरी ग्रुप. A secondary group is where the interaction is relatively less frequent and less intense as compared to the interaction in the primary group. Interaction भी बता दूं क्या है आपसे. मैंने ये 2-3 दफा टर्म बोली, आपको शायद पहले भी आपने सोशल साइकोलॉजी में इसके बारे में पढ़ा होगा. Interaction is when somebody meets another person, when somebody influences another person, when somebody gets influenced by another person, is interaction. Secondary group is a group of people, is a collection of people where interaction is less frequent as compared to the primary group, where interaction is less intense, where exchange of communication, ideas is less intense, less frequent as compared to the interaction in the primary group. Your classmates in a college may be called a primary group. Your college as a whole may be called a secondary group. Within your class, the group who is working on a project together may be called a primary group, and the whole class will be called a secondary group. Because in your primary group, there is more frequent and more interaction, क्योंकि आप एक रिसर्च पे, एक प्रोजेक्ट पे इकट्ठे काम कर रहे हैं. आप बार बार मिलते हैं, आप एक दूसरे से राब्ता ज्यादा करते हैं, आप एक दूसरे पे असरअंदाज ज्यादा होते हैं, आप एक दूसरे का असर ज्यादा कबूल करते हैं. तो इसलिए हम उसको प्राइमरी ग्रुप कहते हैं. ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में भी ऐसा ही है. Primary group is one where interaction is more frequent and more intense, and secondary group is one where interaction is less frequent as compared to primary group and less intense as compared to primary group. So this is the secondary group. And then another kind of group is what is called in-group. In-group is the group to which you belong. When you are in the Pakistani cricket team, the member of the Pakistan cricket team is the in-group for him, if he is a member. If you are in the administrative department in an organization, the administrative department is the in-group for you. If you are a member of a leisure club, the leisure club is an in-group for you. If you are a member of a family, the family is the in-group for you. In-group is the group to which a person belongs, to which he feels that he belongs. That is an in-group. Opposed to that is the concept or the nature of out-group. Out-group is the group with whom the in-group is in competition. One organization, administrative department in an organization is the in-group. Another department may be the out-group. Another organization may be the out-group for the whole organization. College A, if you are a student of College A is your in-group. And College B is your out-group. If you are in Pakistani cricket team is the in-group. West Indian cricket team is the out-group. Australian cricket team is the out-group for you. This is the concept of out-group. Out-group is a group which opposes the in-group, which is in competition with the in-group, which is different from the in-group. Then we also talk about a reference group in an organization. A reference group is one to which one would like to belong. If you are working in the administrative department and you would like to go to the marketing department, then marketing department is the reference group for you. And the administrative department is the in-group for you. And within the administrative department, the people who share coffee during coffee breaks or people who share lunch is the primary group for you. So a reference group is a group to which one would like to belong. If you would like to join a multinational, MNC would be a reference group to you. If you are in a local bank and you would like to join a foreign bank, then local bank is the in-group for you, and a foreign bank is a reference group for you. We also talk about a formal group and an informal group. An informal group is one where no rules and patterns of behavior are written down. People collect together informally. We meet together, for instance, to have lunch in an organization. That would be an informal group because there are no rules written down कि इतने बजे lunch शुरू होगा, इतने बजे खाना खाया जाएगा, इस तरह से खाया जाएगा, ये लोग बिल देंगे. No rules and regulations are written. The group who is going for fishing, then no rules and regulations are written. Whereas opposed to that is the formal group. A formal group is where group rules and regulations are formally stated, written down. When you join a leisure club, for instance, in Lahore or in Karachi or in Sargodha or in Hyderabad, a group, a club that has existed for a number of years, that is an example of joining a formal group. A formal group is where membership rules and regulations are written down. So you have these 7 different types of groups. Primary groups, based upon your interaction, more frequent and intense. Secondary group, where interaction is less frequent and less intense. In-group, the group to which you belong. Out-group, to the group with which you are in competition. Reference group, a group where you would like to be, where you would like to go, that the group that you would like to join, the ideal group. The informal group, where people meet informally, and the formal group, where rules and regulations of group functioning are clearly stated, are written down. ये ग्रुप्स बताने का मकसद ये था कि हर ग्रुप का अपने खास अंदाज से ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल साइकोलॉजी पर असर होता है. इनफॉर्मल ग्रुप का और तरह का असर होगा, फॉर्मल ग्रुप का और तरह का असर होगा, रेफरेंस ग्रुप और तरह से हमारी साइकोलॉजी पे असरअंदाज होता है, इन ग्रुप और तरह से ऑर्गेनाइजेशन पे असरअंदाज होता है, आउट ग्रुप और तरह से असरअंदाज होता है. इसलिए इफ यू नो different types of groups in an organization, you would be able to understand the working of the groups and the relationship of groups in the organization as a whole. That is why we need to know different types of groups. और ये 7 किस्म के हैं. चलिए अब इससे थोड़ा सा आगे चलते हैं and let us talk about group dynamics. देखिए बात ऐसी है कि जब ग्रुप्स फॉर्म हो जाते हैं और जब वो स्टॉर्म करने के बाद फंक्शन करना परफॉर्म करते हैं और फिर वो एडजर्न होते हैं, तो ये सारा प्रोसेस जो है इट इज ए डायनामिक प्रोसेस. ये ग्रुप्स जो हैं ये स्टैटिक नहीं है, दे कीप चेंजिंग ऑल द टाइम एंड दैट इज व्हाट इज कॉल्ड ग्रुप डायनामिक्स. Group dynamics is that science of organizational psychology which studies how groups change, how they function. What are those factors within groups that bring about changes in the nomenclature of the groups, in the functioning of the groups, in the structure of the groups. All of these factors are what is called group dynamics. और ये माहिरीन नफ्सियात के लिए ग्रुप डायनामिक्स जो है ये बहुत फैसिनेटिंग और बहुत पुराना सब्जेक्ट रहा है. अगर हम थोड़ा सा गौर करें इस पे तो 18वीं और 19वीं सदी पर 19वीं सदी में खास तौर पर यूरोपियन माहिरीन नफ्सियात ने, फ्रांसीसी माहिरीन नफ्सियात ने, मिसाल के तौर पे लिबॉन ने ग्रुप साइकोलॉजी और ग्रुप डायनेमिक्स पे किताबें लिखी और उन्होंने हमें बताया कि एक क्राउड और एक ग्रुप में क्या फर्क है और क्राउड की साइकोलॉजी क्या है और ग्रुप की साइकोलॉजी क्या है और क्राउड की साइकोलॉजी और ग्रुप की साइकोलॉजी में क्या क्या फर्क हैं और क्राउड कैसे कंट्रोल किया जा सकता है और ग्रुप पे कैसे कंट्रोल किया जा सकता है. These were books written in the 19th century by a French psychologist, Le Bon, L-E-B-O-N, Le Bon. And then, of course, you are already familiar with Freud's point of view on group psychology. आप जानते हैं फ्रॉयड की भी एक मशहूर किताब थी, ग्रुप साइकोलॉजी एंड एनालिसिस ऑफ द ईगो. आप सिगमंड फ्रॉयड के नाम से तो वाकिफ हैं. Well, that's right. The same person who invented the technique of psychoanalysis, of resolving mental conflicts. We are talking about same Sigmund Freud, the Vienna famous psychologist. His book, Group Psychology and Analysis of the Ego, is about group dynamics. और वो क्या कह रहा है फ्रॉयड उसमें? He has analyzed how groups form, what are the main sources of formations of group, and what are those things that control the people in the group. He says that people who have joined in a group are somebody who have put the same person in their heads, in their minds as a leader. And that is why he says groups form. तो 19वीं सदी, 18वीं सदी, 20वीं सदी में भी ग्रुप डायनामिक्स पे बहुत काम हुआ है. Then of course you are also familiar with group dynamics in relation to Kurt Lewin. Remember we talked about him? We talked about Freud, we talked about Kurt Lewin, who gave us the theory of locomotion, how people are pulled towards certain things, how organizations are pulled towards certain things, and how organizations may be pushed away from certain other things. And those, he thought, were the dynamics of a group. तो ये ग्रुप डायनामिक्स का जो टॉपिक है, ये माहिरीन नफ्सियात को पिछले 150-200 बरसों से काफी इम्प्रेस कर रहा है. ये 20वीं सदी तक तो मैंने आपको एक मुख्तसर सा bird's eye view दिया. Let us also take a look at what we are considering the group dynamics today. मैं समझता हूं there are 3 very important studies that you should be familiar with in relation to group dynamics. One we have already talked about, and that is the Hawthorne studies. When we were talking about organizational psychology, when we were talking about the beginning of organizational psychology, we talked about Hawthorne studies. Hawthorne studies were conducted by American psychologists on people working in an electrical company where electrical goods were produced, and they saw that not only the physical factors of light and temperature affected group productivity in organizations, but also the amount, the kind of people that people are working with, the nature of group members, influences, the nature of supervision that is provided to people in an organization influences the productivity. So, the kind of co-worker and the kind of supervision that is provided are important determinants of productivity of a group in an organization, and that was what was discovered in the Hawthorne studies. That not only physical material factors influence group productivity, but that not so tangible or intangible factors also influence group productivity. और दूसरी जो स्टडी है इस रेफरेंस में जिस पे आपको गौर करना चाहिए, that was undertaken by Schechter. Stanley Schechter studied the influence of two variables on group productivity in an organization. It's a very famous study, and it has opened tremendous amount of possibilities of research in organizational psychology. और वो क्या दिखा रही है? He studied the effect of two variables, two factors on group productivity. What were those two factors? Number one, group cohesion, and number two, induction. Group cohesion is the attraction that group members have for the group. अब ये क्या चीज होती है अट्रैक्शन और कोहेजन? बाज ग्रुप्स ऐसे हैं जिनमें आप रहना ज्यादा पसंद करते हैं, बाज ग्रुप ऐसे हैं जिनमें आप रहना कम पसंद करते हैं. यूं भी समझिए इसको कि यू आर ए मेंबर ऑफ, लेट अस से, टू ग्रुप्स ऑफ फ्रेंड्स, and they have invited you for lunch on the same day at the same time. Now you would prefer to go to one group and forego the other group. The one group that you prefer to go to is a cohesive group for you. You are more attracted towards that group. So cohesiveness is the attraction, the pull that the group has for an individual. That's what group cohesion is. The other factor is induction. Induction is supervision. Induction is guidance, supervision. राह दिखाना और एक बंदे को supervise करना is what Schechter study calls induction. Now he saw the effect of group cohesion and induction upon group productivity. So we are talking about group cohesion and induction as two independent variables, and productivity as the one dependent variable. मिसाल के तौर पर कोहेजन और इंडक्शन की वजह से अगर ये देखा जाए कि कुछ लोग कपड़ा कितना बना सकते हैं या जूते कितने बना सकते हैं, तो that would be an example of productivity. And what did he see in that research? He saw 4 things. Number 1, that high cohesion and high induction, if there is more attractiveness and more supervision provided to people, then productivity is high. Then he saw that if there was low cohesion but high induction, that also led to high productivity. Even when there is low cohesion but induction is high, then productivity is high, not higher than before, but still high. That if there is low cohesion and low induction, then productivity is low. Low cohesion means people are not attracted to each other, and low induction means supervision is also not very stringent, strict, consistent, then productivity would be low. But he also saw that if there is high cohesion and low induction, productivity is lowest. High cohesion, people are attracted to each other, people like each other in the group, but there is low induction, low supervision, low checks and balances on those people, then productivity is the lowest. आखिरी चीज इसमें नोट करने वाली ये है that even when cohesion is high but induction is low, जब लोग attracted हैं लेकिन supervision, checks and balance नहीं है, तो productivity lowest हो गई. आपके ख्याल में इसकी क्या वजह होगी? इसकी वजह ये है that high cohesion alone would lead people to continue to talk to each other, to interact with each other and pay less attention and give less energy towards productivity without the necessary supervision, guidance, direction, and check and balance. And that is why productivity is lowest. So Schechter study saw 4 things. High cohesion with high induction leads to highest productivity. Number 1. Low cohesion, high induction leads to high productivity. Number 3. Low cohesion and low induction leads to lower productivity. But also high cohesion and low induction leads to lowest productivity. This is the relationship that Schechter study saw. This is the second thing that we have seen in group dynamics in the recent 21st century analysis research. अब तीसरी स्टडी जो है ग्रुप डायनामिक्स से मुतल्लिक वो है एंड्रयू जिलाजी की स्टडी. स्पेलिंग आपकी स्क्रीन पे आपको दिखाई दे रहे होंगे. एंड्रयू जिलाजी एंड मार्क वॉलिस. उनकी स्टडी में उन्होंने देखा कि ग्रुप कोहेजन का ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल ग्रुप इफेक्टिवनेस पे, प्रोडक्टिविटी पे क्या असर है. अभी हमने आपको बताया 2 स्टडीज दिखाई, हमने जिक्र किया मैंने आपसे. एक हॉथॉर्न स्टडीज का जिसमें हमने देखा था, जो आप पहले भी पढ़ के आए हैं, कि लोगों का ग्रुप में होना और ग्रुप मेंबर्स का एक दूसरे से जो बाहमी ताल्लुक है उसका होना उनकी प्रोडक्टिविटी से, उनकी आउटकम से बहुत गहरा ताल्लुक रखता है. ये हॉथॉर्न स्टडी से पता चला. इसका मजीद तज्जिया किया शेक्टर स्टडी ने और देखा कि ग्रुप कोहेजन का और इंडक्शन का प्रोडक्टिविटी से गहरा ताल्लुक है. अब अगर ग्रुप अट्रैक्टिवनेस या कोहेजन जो है वो इतनी अहम चीज है ग्रुप डायनामिक्स में कि उसका ग्रुप डायनामिक्स पे और प्रोडक्टिविटी पे गहरा असर पड़ता है, तो फिर इसको मजीद तज्जिया किया जाना चाहिए था. एंड दैट इज एग्जैक्टली व्हाट जिलाजी एंड वॉलिस डिड. दे सॉ what are those factors that create cohesiveness in a group, in an organization. ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, उसमें ग्रुप बने और ग्रुप्स में कोहेजन आई और कोहेजन का प्रोडक्टिविटी के साथ गहरा ताल्लुक हुआ. वो कौन से फैक्टर्स हैं जो कोहेजन पे असरअंदाज हो रहे हैं? क्योंकि अगर हम माहिरीन नफ्सियात की हैसियत से उन फैक्टर्स को जान लें, जांच लें, तो फिर हम कोहेजन बढ़ा सकते हैं और कोहेजन बढ़ा के हम प्रोडक्टिविटी बढ़ा सकते हैं. और यही चीज जो है जिलाजी और वॉलिस की स्टडी ने देखी और उन्होंने देखा क्या चीज. A number of factors they discovered. Number 1, if groups agree, if group members agree on the group goals, ये ग्रुप को क्या करना चाहिए, if there is agreement about group goals, then cohesion increases, then people feel attracted towards the group. And if they are more cohesive, if they are more attracted towards each other, then they work better, then productivity increases. So agreement amongst group members about group goals is an important variable that determines cohesion and therefore determines group productivity. Zilaji and Wallace also saw that if the frequency of interaction increases, then that increases cohesion, such that the higher the frequency of interaction, the probability of cohesion increases. एक दूसरे से मिलने जुलने से कोहेजन जो है वो बढ़ती है और फ्रीक्वेंसी ऑफ इंटरेक्शन लीडिंग टू इंक्रीज्ड कोहेजन लीड्स टू इंक्रीज्ड प्रोडक्टिविटी. दैट इज व्हाट दे सॉ. तीसरी चीज जो उन्होंने देखी है वो ये है, इफ ए ग्रुप इज इन कॉम्पिटिशन विद अनदर ग्रुप, देन कोहेजन इन द इन ग्रुप इंक्रीजेज. If there is competition between the in-group and the out-group, if they see each other as rivals, then there is high cohesion in the in-group, and that high cohesion in the in-group creates higher level of productivity. So, under the supervision of wise and clever organizational psychologists, people, leaders in the organizations ensure that when groups form, they are in competition with each other so that that competition leads to higher cohesion within groups, in the in-group, and that higher cohesion leads to higher productivity. ये 3 स्टडीज जो हैं, हॉथॉर्न स्टडी, शेक्टर स्टडी और जिलाजी और वॉलेस स्टडी, इन्होंने हमें ग्रुप डायनामिक्स के बारे में ये बताया कि कोहेजन का और प्रोडक्टिविटी का बहुत गहरा ताल्लुक है आपस में ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस में. चलिए अब इससे आगे चलते हैं एंड लेट अस टेक ए लुक एट सम अदर फैक्टर्स. You may be a part of a group in an organization, but that group is less effective. And you may be a part of another group in an organization, and that may be a group which is more effective. Effective group means that a group which is adding more towards the achievement of organizational goal. Let us see what are those factors that increase group effectiveness. Psychologists have identified a number of factors that are related to effectiveness of groups. 1. Task interdependence. Groups would become effective if the group members see that their completion of task is dependent upon completion of tasks by other group members. That the task could be completed, can be finished well if individual members have worked together and in union with each other. Task interdependence, therefore, is one of the important variables of group effectiveness. Another is outcome interdependence. If the group members know that whatever they do, they would be rewarded or punished together, then the groups would become more effective. Another, if group members share their dreams, if they have common dreams that they share, then the group would become more effective. Research also shows that if the group members have leaders who trust them, who repose confidence in them, then the groups become more effective. Another factor of effectiveness of group that they have seen is that if the group members realize that the task that they are performing is very important, then the group becomes effective. Importance of the task and its realization by the group members makes a group effective. And finally, organizational psychologists have seen that if group members see that there is fairness and fair play in the organization and in the group, then the group performs better, then the group is more effective. These are the factors that group psychologists have seen that make groups effective in an organization. Before we end today, let us see what we have talked about. We've talked about what are groups, and we have talked about why groups form. We talked about the balance theory, we talked about economic needs, we talked about social needs, we talked about exchange theory, we talked about physical nearness. These are factors of why groups form in an organization. Then we talked about different types of groups. We talked about the in-group, the out-group, formal group, the informal group, the reference group, और हमने इसकी आपको मुख्तलिफ तारीफ़ें भी बताई थी हर ग्रुप की. फिर हमने ग्रुप डायनामिक्स के बारे में जिक्र किया और हमने उस रेफरेंस में बताया कि हॉथॉर्न स्टडीज और शेक्टर स्टडी और जिलाजी एंड वॉलेस स्टडी से हमें ये पता चला कि intangible factors influence group performance, वो factors जिनको आप देख नहीं सकते, such as attractiveness for the group in the mind of a group member. Attractiveness तो दिखाई नहीं देती. It's an intangible factor. We call that group cohesion. And we saw the group cohesion is related to important variable in an organization, that is group productivity. ये हमें हॉथॉर्न स्टडी से भी दिखाई दिया, ये हमें शेक्टर स्टडी में भी दिखाई दिया. गो के शेक्टर स्टडी में हमने देखा कि सिर्फ ग्रुप कोहेजन नहीं बल्कि इंडक्शन भी प्रोडक्टिविटी से रिलेटेड है. और फिर हमने ये भी देखा कि ग्रुप कोहेजन को बढ़ाने या घटाने में कौन कौन से फैक्टर्स हैं. एंड दैट वाज द थर्ड स्टडी दैट वी सॉ, that is Zilagy and Wallace study. And finally, we saw various factors that can influence the effectiveness of a group. अभी हम ग्रुप्स के मुतालिक आगाही हासिल कर रहे हैं और इसके बाद हम टीम्स के बारे में पढ़ेंगे और फिर जो ग्रुप्स की वजह से ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में खराबात पैदा हो सकती हैं उनका जिक्र करेंगे और फिर ये देखेंगे कि उन खराबात को दुरुस्त कैसे किया जा सकता है. डू टेक ए लुक एट दिस लेक्चर. अंटिल देन, खुदा हाफिज. गॉड बी विद यू.